Angela, I called your university to ask for them to withdraw your acceptance to the school. After you graduate from high school, you are tasked with finding a job. You asked them to do what? Why did you let me go to great lengths to pass the exam only for you to take it away from me in the end? You said you would let me go to college if I passed the exam for Princeton. I didn't think you'd be able to pass the exam. That's why I suggested a high-level place like Princeton, so that way you'd lose interest in trying for college. I honestly have no intention of letting you go to college, so I had them withdraw your acceptance. You liar! Why would you let me go through all of this if you had no intention of letting me go in the first place? Who's going to support the finances of this family? Just when I thought that I could finally relax a bit since you'd be helping out, you selfishly decided to apply to college. Are you trying to run away from me? You are an important asset to supporting the family. This is a household of a single mother since your father passed away from a car accident. I can't pay for your tuition on my own when I could barely even make enough to support us through these years. That's why I've been working part-time as much as I can while going to school. I chose to live my entire high school life making sure not to cost us as much money as possible. I'm going to borrow a scholarship at university or just go through student loans. I'm not trying to burden you. Shut up! Why are you so insistent on going? All you're gonna do there is drink and play around. I won't allow you to have fun. If I have to suffer, then so do you. I didn't even want to work in the first place, which is why I got married to your father, who ran a small company. And yet, next thing I know, I've gone from being a full-time housewife to living a poor life working to support me and my 2 daughters. I don't want to work anymore. I've been working hard on my own all my life as a single mother. It's time for me to live freely. So, regardless of whether it's fair or not, you don't have time to go to college. After graduating from high school, start working right away and support your sister and me. What? That isn't fair. Katie is still a junior high school student. She still needs a lot of money for her tuition. I want to let her go to my favorite high school and college, and for that to happen, you have to do your best. You'll be paying for all her school tuition. What? Hold on. Katie is allowed to go to any high school and university of her choice, but I was told that I could only go to a public high school, and even though I passed the exam for Princeton, university was canceled. That's because Katie is cute. Unlike you, she's special. Worth putting in the effort and money. Well, your money, at least. Unlike me? What are you trying to say? You look just like your father, so much it's rather annoying. When he was alive, I loved him because of the money he had, but now it's all gone. I hate your father who died and left me, and I hate the daughter who looks like him as well. That's why you hated me? I knew that you treated only me like this, but I never thought that was the reason. That's completely unreasonable. I can't help that I was born with his likeness. Compared to you, Katie looked just like me when I was her age. She's such an angel. A cute child like her should be able to marry a rich man and live happily. So, for that to happen, she needs a chance to get to meet and know these rich people, which is where you come in. She needs to go to the best high school and the best college, which you will be paying for. I have to pay for all that? I want to go to college too. I want a successful life too. But now I have to let go of those dreams and put up with working so that my little sister can have a better life, all because you don't want to work? Katie is your cute little sister, right? A big sister should try their hardest to support their younger sister. So with that being said, stop talking and hurry up and find a job. Stop moping over your false hope. College isn't something you deserve to go to. It wasn't false for me. You told me that you won't accept any less than Princeton, so I tried my hardest to get in. I studied for ages for this moment, only for you to completely disregard it? This is all way too cruel. The cruel one is you. You don't care about your parents' feelings at all. Normally, people don't tell their parents that they're going to pursue college. They tell their parents that they would like to work to help them out. And yet here you are being ungrateful and not wanting to return the favor of me taking care of you. Go look for a job, you ungrateful child. Hey sis, did you see the picture? That high-brand bag looks amazing, doesn't it? I bought it using the bonus I got during the summer. Of course I saw it. It's amazing that you could afford to buy such expensive items. That's because, unlike you, I'm a highly educated college graduate. Are you jealous? A high school graduate like you wouldn't be able to afford something like this, right? Why would you say something like that to me? High school graduates barely get paid to survive, right? I heard from Mom, but apparently you only make an average of $30K a year? You've been working since you graduated high school, and yet you can only make that much money? I pity people with low educational backgrounds. Any effort you put in won't help if you don't at least graduate from college like I did. You've really got some nerve to say those kinds of things to me, Katie. Why don't you just hurry up and find someone to marry? A high school graduate barely making ends meet and completely single? I would rather die than be known as that. If you don't hurry up and marry someone while you're still young, then nobody is going to want you at all. Thanks for your concern, but I'm about to get married to the person I was dating soon. So no need to worry about my future. What did you say? I said that I'm getting married soon. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to move out of the house as well. You graduated college and are now working to a point where you can look after yourself, plus Mom still works part-time. So even if I'm not here, you guys can somehow manage to live on your own, right? I didn't know that you had a boyfriend, sis, but I bet he's as much of a low-level human as you are. I mean, who else would want to get married to someone who only graduated high school? Not really. Unlike me, he managed to go into college and graduate. We were classmates in high school and were supposed to go to the same college, but I was the only one who wasn't able to go to college, so we became estranged. Luckily for me, we managed to meet again as adults and then started dating again. Went to the same university as you were supposed to? Does that mean he graduated from Princeton? Yeah, he and I were the only ones who got accepted. I wanted to enjoy my college life with him. What does he do now? If he graduated from somewhere like that, then he must be working for a nice company, like a foreign-affiliated financial company. He's just an ordinary doctor. His parents own a hospital, and he's eventually going to be the owner of that hospital as well. Is he that successful? Why would a person like that get married to a high school graduate like you? It's unfair for a high school graduate to get something this good. Educational background doesn't matter in marriage. And it shouldn't matter who I decide to marry. Anyway, I'll be moving out soon and won't be visiting the house very much after I get married, so please take care of Mom. Angela, give up on your marriage with your fiancé and give him to your sister instead. He is way too out of your league and you don't deserve him. He is better matched off with your sister. Mom, what kind of joke are you trying to pull here? I'm being serious. I'm sure your fiancé would like to marry a more attractive girl. Your sister is pretty and has a better educational background than you do. She's perfect for him. You should want your sister to be happy. You don't want me to be happy? I gave up on going to college to pay for her tuition fee, and next you want me to give up on my fiancé? Why would I have to go through all this just because I'm the older sibling? Shut up! A daughter should listen to what her mother says. I won't let you forget how I raised you. I also don't like how you plan to move out the moment you are set to get married. You need to keep working to take care of me. I've just quit my part-time job, but if you leave, then that was all for nothing. What do you mean you quit your job? Your sister finally graduated college and is now working. Until now, we've managed to do well with my part-time job and you working full-time, but I think it's about time that I get to be free. I figured that now was the perfect time to quit and live my life in peace. I'm thinking of living off of your salary, but you've decided to get married. You'll continue to work for your family. That's the eldest daughter's role. I won't let you off that easily. What do you think of me? I'm used to you treating me like trash because you think that Katie is prettier, but now you want to take away my happiness? I only really think of you as an ATM. I gave birth to you, and now you have to live your life working for my happiness. Oh, but if your fiancé marries your sister, then I guess we wouldn't need you anymore. Rather, you would just be a hindrance, so if you could leave the house, that'd be great. Treating me like an ATM and telling me to leave when you're done with me, it's too much. Shut up! You mean absolutely nothing to me. Introduce your fiancé to your little sister and don't show up in front of me again. Fine. Understood. You're no longer needed here. Now then, we need to get Katie to get married to him soon. I wonder how much money I could request out of him. You didn't let me finish. I will only comply with the part where you told me to no longer show my face to you ever again. I won't be handing my fiancé over to Katie. Why should I? What did you say to me? I'm done with you. I won't be showing my face to you ever again. Once I get married to him, I will be cutting all ties with you guys. Don't interfere with my life ever again. What's wrong with you? You have some nerve yelling like that. You are going to go against your mother's orders. Hand him over to her. You guys aren't a good match. A low-income person like you who gets married to a doctor would only end up getting divorced.
You might be right. Angela is such a hard-working person unlike me. One day she might get tired of me and just want to end things.
Huh? Who are you?
Nice to meet you, Angela's mother. I'm the man she's going to marry, Harry.
You're the doctor she's going to marry?
Sorry that this is how we first encounter each other. Angela mentioned that there's no reason for us to ever meet.
Oh my, sorry for my rude daughter. Compared to her, her little sister Katie is a very hard-working girl. She should be a good match for someone of your class, Harry. She's cute, went to college, and above all, young. If you ever meet her, I'm sure you'd be interested in her. Forget about Angela and meet with her instead.
Oh, I've met her before. My friends and I were so appalled by her rude behavior.
What are you talking about? She's so cute, and I'm proud of her.
I was forced to participate in a speed dating event, and I did tell Angela about this. I had Katie as my partner. She was certainly cute and young. She was very popular with the male members in the early stages. But the marriage appeal was just too much, and the men quickly distanced themselves from her.
What's wrong with that? That's where you go to find a future marriage partner, right?
Slight marriage talk is fine, but her demands of what her life should be were, way too much. She wants to live in a luxury apartment, wants to ride in this luxury car, and wants at least $10,000 a month for an allowance? You talk about your desire to get married like that, it's only natural for men to lose interest. I may have been a little mean in response to that. I had asked her in exchange for fulfilling all those wants, what can you do for your husband? I asked her if she'd be good at being a perfect housewife, but her answer was horrible.
Horrible answer? What could she have possibly said?
She claimed that she didn't want to do such troublesome things, so that it would be good to have 2 children and let the older one do everything. Not surprising that after all that, all the men and women distanced themselves from her. Your daughter, however, didn't notice the change and was curious why everyone is acting differently and claimed that her household was like that.
Oh my, how strange for her to say such things. I don't know what to say. I'm not a mother who forces everything on Angela.
You do, though. By the time she was 12, you forced most of the housework onto her. She used to complain to me a lot when we studied together. She had a part-time job and was in charge of all the housework at home. So if I don't sacrifice my sleep, I won't be able to find time to study.
Well, you see, that's because...
After we get married, I want you guys to see her again. I want her to end her life by sacrificing herself for others. I want her to have fun. So with that in mind, starting today, she'll be cutting off all ties with you guys. Please contact me if you want anything you would like to talk to her about.
Help me, sis. Mom keeps saying all these weird things. She said that I have to send her $10,000 a month. You can do that, right? You graduated from college and got into a good company, so you can afford it since you managed to buy a high-brand bag. Sure, I work at a better company than you do, but I still get paid a minimum amount as well. Sending Mom money when I already have to pay my rent and other bills will barely leave me with anything left. Oh, really? A high school graduate like you wouldn't understand. Just because I graduated college doesn't mean I get paid super well. You say that, but you do have a tendency to show off not only your designer bags, but earrings and other expensive items as well. I sacrificed my groceries to buy those. I would just go to speed dating events and have the men buy dinner, and I would just spend the money I would use to buy food for those brand items. That is a bit of an extreme way to go about things, Katie. But these days, for some reason, all the men I eat with keep leaving. Even when I ask for a present, they won't buy any at all, so I can't send money to Mom. Help us out, sis. I don't need to do anything. I'm married now, and I've already decided not to go back home. You're married already? You're in charge of taking care of Mom now. She was cold to me, but in return she was very kind to you, so think of it as a way to repay her kindness and support her. What? I can't do that. Please, sis, don't leave me. Katie kept ignoring her mother's demand to send money, and her mother, who had reached her limit of her patience, rushed into her workplace, yelling about how she raised her and yet she can't even take care of her mother. She eventually got dragged away by security. However, Katie couldn't handle the embarrassment she faced at her workplace, so she resigned. She eventually moved back in with Mom and tried to sell off her brand items. However, it was discovered that they were all counterfeits. I heard that the two of them were so shocked to hear that they wouldn't be given any money for those items that they passed out on the spot.
Tina, you seriously couldn't even be bothered with watching our grandmother's final message and reading her will? Like, seriously, what type of self-centered, narcissistic bastard doesn't want to say their final goodbyes to their grandmother? Not only has it been a decade since our family has been graced with your presence, but you haven't spoken to any of us. Don't you have any sense of family? Or are we not as important as your adventures around the globe? Is it my turn to speak, or are you going to continue to assault my phone with insults like some sort of middle school internet bully? Explain yourself whenever you feel like you can put your idiocy into words. How about that? My idiocy? Are you kidding me? How idiotic is it to place so much value in something as inconsistent as family? How many family members checked in on you while you were struggling through your degree, Brittany? Or check in on you at all those late-night bar trips I've been hearing about? I've been unreachable for 10 years, but any of your family could have reached out to you to stop you from wallowing in your own self-pity. Are you really trying to make me feel bad for caring about family? You are so freaking pathetic, Tina. Yeah, I'm the pathetic one. Get over yourself. Shouldn't you be sleeping so you can go to that 9-to-5 finance job you went through 8 years of schooling to get? Sorry we all couldn't drop out of high school and be content with living a life with no sense of direction. You're the queen of improv. I am not about to waste time arguing with a person that I don't even care to see. Wow, Tina. I mean, I always knew that was how you felt, but hearing you say it is something completely different. I'm supposed to be your sister. It has been a decade since I've seen you. The last time I saw your face was my high school graduation. And you're going to sit here and say you could care less if you saw me or not. Britt, I'm sorry, okay? But I cannot change the past. I wish I could, but all I can do is move forward with my life. I just couldn't bear any more family attachments. Dad's death was very rough on me. I spiraled out of control to the point where I couldn't even define what emotions I felt on a day-to-day basis. It was hard. I couldn't be angry at the cancer that took Dad away from us, so I decided I wouldn't feel that way anymore. I'm sorry. Look, I just contacted you because I want to discuss the content of Grandma's final message and will to us. Do you mind if the conversation waits until morning? It's kind of late, and that is the most emotional conversation I have had in years. It honestly took a lot of energy. Agreed. That was a lot. I'm not going to lie. Glad we don't have to argue about everything we speak about. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Brittany. Okay, we'll talk in the morning. Good night. Good night. All right, Brittany. What matter was so pressing that you had to interrupt the flow of my wonderful night? There is no way that you are about to go right back to being the jerk you were before our conversation last night. I thought we had finally found a way to coexist. Please do not mess up the progress that I thought we were making. All right. Can we not waste any more of either of our time and get to the point of this conversation? Anyway, I just wanted to ask about the extent of your knowledge as it pertains to our grandmother's will. Like, what led to her being as rich as she was, her assets, etc. Now, why would I know anything about our grandmother and her excessive amounts of money? If you don't recall, I'm the one you were just fussing out for going missing for a decade. Do you enjoy ruining the day-to-day experience of all the people who interact with you? At this point, it's like you make it your job to be the bane of my existence. And we haven't even been speaking for 12 hours at this point. I'll ask again, what is the extent of your knowledge as it pertains to our grandmother's wealth? I know you know something, so you can be serious for at least a second. I know that Grandma began the chain of restaurants, what's it called? Grandma Emma's Chicken Spot, right? I know that it became as popular as it is now because of that home-style honey garlic chicken. Anything else? Please tell me you know more. I know that she hit the jackpot with our granddad. The biggest portion of the wealth comes from the 3% of that pharmaceutical company they own. I can never recall the name of that company. Okay, good. So you were told the same lies as everyone else in our family. Lies? What do you mean by lies? Why would our grandparents lie to us about the money they procured before we even got on this planet? I guess we weren't ready for the truth. The contents of our grandmother's final will and testament was about the truth of our so-called family business. The truth? I guess that means you're about to tell me what's really behind all that money Grandma and Granddad made? Well, first I have to figure out where to start. How about you just jump into the story? You have a habit of wasting a lot more time than what is necessary. Oh, you don't want me to waste any more time, huh? Okay. Well, our grandparents' wealth is based on that pharmaceutical company you know about, right? Well, the pharmaceutical company isn't real. That's why we never knew the name. The company was actually some guy named Mickey. Mickey? How in the hell is an entire company some guy named Mickey? Mickey is a big-time methamphetamine dealer based out of Portland, Oregon. Granddad met him in the military on one of those mini tours he did. Wait. Did you just say that the company that they told us they invested in was Mickey? And Mickey was a meth dealer? I cannot believe you came up with this crazy story just to get in contact with me. You must think I'm dumb if you think I would believe something as crazy as that. Like, what do you take me for? I was not born yesterday. Jesus, Tina, I know you don't understand, but please try to listen and not interrupt. This is going to take a lot longer if I have to combat your denial and try to explain the real-life sequel to Breaking Bad. Okay, I'm listening. As I said, Granddad met Mickey in the military. They'd become really close friends after their time in Vietnam, and they turned into best friends by the time they got back to the States. When they got home from Nam, Granddad told Mickey about the farm he owned. He told Mickey about the farmland he owned, and how he could do virtually anything he wanted to with it. I guess this piqued Mickey's interest as he made Granddad an offer that he could not refuse. Granddad didn't know a thing about where the money came from or the operations that Mickey planned on running from his land. Well, how much money did he offer? It had to be something crazy. Granddad got paid government money as part of the forces. He gave our Granddad $300,000 cash and promised that he would receive 10% of the proceeds. He also gave our grandmother her own 7% just to entice her to stay to collect her own money. Needless to say, the money had them. They didn't know a thing until about 2 years later. They found out as our grandma attempted to tell Mickey that she had prepared dinner for the night and that he could come eat. In the video, she described the smell of the lab as the worst thing she had ever come into contact with. Mickey decided to come clean and let them know that the operation he was running was the manufacturing of meth. And they just went along with it? Well, not exactly. They actually were angry that Mickey didn't tell them the entire scope of the operations he paid them to run. Grandma went on to talk about a huge fight that went down between Mickey and Grandpa. It wasn't much of a fight, though. Apparently, Mickey would not fight back because he knew he was in the wrong. So, they didn't like what he was doing, and they put an end to it. Why does it matter if it is all over? Tina, for God's sakes, can you let me finish? I mean, it's not a Q&A. It's a, I talk, you listen. You would have already heard the story if you could be bothered to show up once in a while. Whatever, just get on with it. As I was saying, Mickey wouldn't fight back. Grandma stopped the onslaught and calmed Granddad down. She walked away with Mickey and he began to apologize for not being truthful. She didn't know what to think, so she told him to just go to his living area, meaning the barn, and she would talk to Pops. Of course, he was angry since their entire livelihood could have been ruined, but Grandma saw opportunity. Since their business relationship had started, our grandparents did not have to work a day. Needless to say, neither of them wanted to give up that lifestyle. So they kicked him out and started the fast food chain? Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Wrong again. Grandma always dreamed of her restaurant, but that was not what she cared about anymore. She saw it as a way to clean all the money that they were making at such an absurd rate. The rest is history. Wow, are you serious? Yes, I'm afraid. That, my slightly dumb sister, is how our family fortune came to be. We are a drug kingpin, and none of us ever knew in the slightest. Now you're the one trying to ruin my life experience. Regardless, that was so many years ago, Brittany. I understand that Grandma spoke of it in the video, but why does that hardly matter now? If anything, we should burn all evidence of this and leave it in the past. This is why I called you slightly dumb. Yeah, it is smart to rid the evidence, but you have to be dumb if you're not looking at this opportunity like it's a gold mine. How small-minded can you be? Brittany, you are a 9-to-5 worker that works from a cubicle in an office. You cannot believe that you are just going to be able to go from that to a meth dealer. I'm tired of living such a mundane lifestyle. Every day I do the same thing. Wake up, convince myself to hit the gym, go to work. Work 8 hours, eat while I'm there, go home. I can't keep doing it. I need something different, something more spontaneous. And a life of crime is how you want to spice your life up? This isn't Grand Theft Auto, Brittany. You cannot go back to your normal, comfortable life after you try to get into something like this. Have you tried taking a dance class? How about parasailing? Hell, even skydiving. Just don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Tina, I am an adult. I know how to handle myself and not get into trouble. We're not kids anymore, you know. Well, you sure are acting like one. Why would you say you want to get involved with meth? Just have a more interesting life? Even if it made your life more interesting, you do know it's a secret you'd have to carry to the grave, right? Just like Grandma did. Oh, shut up. Acting like you care about your family now? You don't know anything about the lifestyle our grandma led, so don't go trying to give out advice. You wouldn't be half the woman our grandma was. Okay, that was uncalled for. Very uncalled for. Seems like you got everything figured out already, huh? You're darn right I do. I didn't need you all those years, and I don't need you now. I think you need me now more than ever, honestly. But I'll let you do what you want. You're right about one thing. We are not children anymore. I do not have to look after you by any means. Is that all? Can I go back to leading my normal, isolated life? Or are you going to keep bothering me without purpose? Yeah, go back to the pathetic lifestyle you live. Whatever that may be. Actually, there is one last thing. Our grandma's lawyer wanted to speak to you about your part of the inheritance. I don't know why you have a part, but that wasn't my choice, I guess. Okay. Thanks for that pointless comment. I'll make sure that I get in contact with her. Okay, well, that's all, Tina. Goodbye. I hope whatever you do goes well. Bye, Brittany. Don't get into any trouble. Hello, Angela. The brat told me you needed to speak to me. Why didn't you just text me? In case you don't remember, Tina, we haven't spoken before. We went around when your grandmother introduced me to the family. Hello, Tina. Well, you got me there. How have you been? It's been like a year since I heard from you. It's not 10 years, but a lot can happen in a year. I'm pretty good. Sorry, your grandmother and I kind of saw this time coming from a distance. We tried to prepare the best we could. Thank you for that, by the way. I know that took a lot out of you from a mental standpoint. I wish I had the ability to handle something like that. Trust me, Tina, we were proud of you just for doing your part as you have been. Your grandmother was so grateful that you took over the family business at such a young age. We know your father would have felt the same. Thank you. You have no idea what that means to me. On that note, why does Brittany think she is about to go from The Office to becoming the next Tony Montana? She thinks she is about to do what? That girl never ceases to amaze me. I'm sure you know like I know, but we cannot stop her from doing her heart's content. I thought we all agreed to keep the whole operation under wraps. What happened? Your grandmother began to change her mind the closer the time came. I tried to change her mind, but I didn't have it in me to argue. I get it. It was probably for the best that you didn't fight her over it. Blissful exit. You know? Yeah, but back to Brittany. She probably feels like since you weren't there from her point of view that you didn't mean anything to her. She only cares when it's announced to the world. That's why we are not the same. Well, you're not lying with that one. But let's get to the real point of this conversation. We have to talk about the $6 million inheritance she left behind. Brittany mentioned something about my part. Does she know about the inheritance too? Now why in the heck would I tell her about that? She knows what your grandmother left for everyone else. She assumed that was the entirety of the inheritance, and that no one knows about the operation. Not even me. Well, at least we kept one thing from her. She would have waged a war if she knew about that. Your grandmother left her the fast food chain and decided that this inheritance is solely to be shared by us for our part in the operations. We do have to negotiate the split, though. Is this the part where you tell me that you plan on taking me out? I don't think I can handle war with you after a conversation with Brittany. You watch too many movies, Tina. No, I am actually fine with taking $500,000. I don't need much, Tina. You are worth way more than that to the business, Angela. I'm not letting you leave this conversation unless you take $2 million. You really have no choice. You drive a hard bargain, but my mum would slap me if I ever turned down an offer like that. I'm glad it was that easy. I know you were just trying to play Mrs. Morale. You caught me. Thank you for that, by the way. I kind of feel bad for letting Brittany think that I just didn't care about our family. They truly mean the world to me. But she would have been the end of our business. She is just way too arrogant and does not care to listen more than she speaks. So, I guess this is what had to happen. It was the right decision. I have to go now. It's time to pick up my kids. Okay. It was nice to hear from you, Angela. Same to you. I will talk to you soon. See you later. Please tell me you have access to a TV. Watch the news right now. Please skip the dramatics. You know for a fact that I do not own a TV. Let's get to the point. Former financial manager arrested for trafficking? What in the hell did she do? It couldn't have had anything to do with the business. She hasn't been with me, talking to me, or anything else. Brittany the Brilliant decided to find her own way into the family company. She found her own contacts and then began to try and set up a family partnership. The contact told her to meet him the week after and then showed her his badge and took her in. Since she runs the chicken spot, they decided to check out all locations and decided to shut down 3 of the biggest restaurants. It isn't devastating to the company, and the teenage crowd thought it was pretty cool. I'm just glad we stopped cleaning money there, or else she would have really been Armageddon to our entire family. That's cool and all, but you know this means we can't do anything for her, right? I can be her lawyer, but the bail price is so high it would look strange for you to bail her out. So, I can't get her, or else the cops are going to look into the background of my money. Cool. Don't get me wrong, I want to empathize with her, but we all knew that Brittany would be the end of herself. It's not on our shoulders. She chose her own path. Why do we only contact each other in these awful scenarios? We've got to get better at talking about something positive. You're right. When she found out the news, she was doomed. I told your grandma that would happen. Trust me, my grandma knew that too. But I guess the decisions were all up to Brittany. Well, I'll make sure I do better with contacting you with better news. I have to go. Talk to you later, Tina. Okay, goodbye.